Hey everybody, welcome back to the Super Duty build. This is going to be a short video because I just want to point out something that I've discovered with this nose gear block and this kind of whole front assembly on the nose of the airplane. Now this will apply to a Zenith Cruiser, the STOL, or the Super Duty. Now you can see that I do have my main gear mounted to the airplane, so now it's time to finish up the firewall part here and get the nose gear installed. Now the issue is when I go to reinstall this block here. Now you can watch one of my other videos on how I drilled this hole to match drill this block in here. Okay, so now there's a bolt that goes through here. The problem I'm finding now is this is about a half a diameter here too high. And the reason it's high is because when I put this in here and drilled it, I did not have this piece bolted to the bottom of the airplane. You can see now from the bottom that we have these 4 bolts in here actually holding it tight, and you can see on the inside those bolts. For now I do have these 4 clecos up here, but before all of this was clecoed together. And I think what happened was because it was just clecoed and it wasn't bolted tight, all these different layers of aluminum weren't fully compressed together. And so when I put this on here and drilled this hole, you know, it lined up perfectly, as you can see on one of the previous videos. I forget what episode it is, maybe I can put it on the screen. But now that I have this bolted and everything is tight and pulled together, it basically pulled this bottom plate up, making this too high. So now this hole is basically a little bit too low. Now here's the problem with that. Inside here that goes all the way up to here is the nose gear with all those hockey pucks here. So there's a tremendous amount of pressure pushing this down. And of course, you know, you have this double plate right here, which is pretty strong. But I really want, like I thought about maybe just kind of ovaling this hole, making this hole a little bit bigger to fit the bolt through. But I want that bolt to fit tight in there to hold that pressure. I don't really want to oval that hole. So the only way to make this work now is to replace this. So after I assembled this whole assembly here on the firewall, I had it powder coated. And I had it powder coated because it's quick and easy to do. And I didn't have any white paint, and by the time I would pay for white paint and all that, it would actually cost more than just having it powder coated. But generally I don't like to powder coat aluminum parts. You know, something like the control stick or something like that is fine. But, you know, and I see people powder coating structures of the airplane, like the rudder and horizontal stabilizer and elevators and flaperons and stuff like that. And I don't think people understand that you can't really fix powder coating. So if this was just painted, I would just strip the paint off of it, drill out some rivets, replace the part I need so that, you know, so this hole isn't here anymore and I can reposition the hole, and then paint it again. But with this being powder coated, you can't just drill out rivets because all of the powder coating is just going to crack and crumble kind of around where you're drilling out the rivets. And not only is it going to look terrible, it's not going to be a nice finish on there, and it doesn't give you the, you know, just the protection that a nice even coat of powder coating like this provides. So none of this can be fixed. So just to replace this little part down here, this piece of the aluminum, I have to replace all of this. And there's a whole bunch of little angles and parts and everything that go into this that I'm sure is going to be quite expensive to replace. But to me right now, I have no option, right? I can't fix this because I can't drill out the rivets, and I need to reposition that hole. So one of the tips I have for you guys, no matter which high-wing Zenith you're building, is when you are positioning these blocks in here to drill, make sure that everything is bolted together, because that way everything is pulled tight and it's in its final position. And I didn't realize with just the clecos I had in there when I drilled mine, those clecos really weren't strong enough, I guess, to really pull all those layers of aluminum together and make it tight. So, like I said in the beginning, I drilled the hole into here with it being clecoed, and then later on I bolted it, and when I bolted it, it kind of pulled everything together, and now the holes in here and this aluminum are misaligned, And the only way to replace or to fix that hole is to replace this part, which means I have to replace all these parts, which means I have to spend a ton of money. You might remember a previous video I made on mistakes. And I think there's 3 different kinds of mistakes that you can make building an airplane. The first kind of mistake is you're in a hurry, you're not paying attention, you're tired, you're working on the plane when you shouldn't be, and you wind up doing something that maybe you normally wouldn't have done, but you just made a mistake. And you might have to replace a small part. Those are the kind of mistakes I don't like because it makes me frustrated because it's preventable. The other kind of mistake, which I don't mind so much, is if I'm trying to do something, like I might find a way that I might be building something that I think might work, or I might want to do something in a way that I think is going to work. And for me, it's worth it to try it. And I realize that if it doesn't work, then I might have to replace those parts. But for me, that's kind of the fun about building an airplane, is trying different things. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't, sometimes you have to replace parts. Those kind of mistakes I don't particularly mind. The third kind of mistake is something like this. It's not really like a mistake. Like I didn't do anything wrong. It's just that who would have known when I was doing this that having the clecos in there just wasn't pulling all of those layers of aluminum together tight enough to actually get this in its final position. It's just one of those things about building an airplane. It happens. You know, when I was doing this, I took my time. I thought I was doing it correctly. When I did do this, the hole lined up perfect. It was great. Little did I know that later on, when I actually bolted it together, it would change that geometry a little bit, and now it doesn't work. So, you know, those kind of mistakes I don't particularly mind too much because it's just part of building an airplane. You know, you can't prevent that kind of thing really if you don't know. That's why I wanted to make this video, is hopefully I can tell you guys, hey, when you're doing this, make sure you actually bolt it together and don't just put the clecos in there so that you can have this in the final position. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about this, but before you go, I want to show you 2 really cool things I got for the Super Duty. Well, I wanted to show you, I have my engine mount for the engine. Now this is for the Lycoming or Titan engine. I really want to go with the Lycoming. One thing I do want to ask Zenith is, this does say 0235, and I'll be putting an 0320 in here. Now I'm guessing that it's probably exactly the same, but it's just something I just want to verify with Zenith. But it's pretty amazing when you look at how complex this engine mount is. I mean, it looks pretty simple, but it's actually a pretty complex design, and it looks really, really well built too. The welds are really nice, and all 4, or no, what, there's 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All 5 legs sit nice and evenly on the workbench, so it's just a really, really nice engine mount. It looks pretty cool, so that'll be kind of fun to get onto the airplane once I get my new parts. Now, the other thing I want to show you is in my garage, and that is over in the corner, and that is the cowling. You guys should see this cowling. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's probably the best looking cowling I've ever had on any of my kit planes. I hate to even finish this and paint this because the finish on it, this is just the, what do you call it? The gel coat that's on there. It's a light gray. But it's flawless. It is absolutely amazing. And it's kind of neat. They even have a recess in here for the oil door. It's super, super nice. The only problem with it though is it's extremely heavy. Like this bottom cowling, I should actually weigh it. I'll bet it weighs every bit of 10, 15 pounds. This probably weighs 8 pounds. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But it's very heavy, but man, is it nice. It's a really, really nice looking, good quality cowling. All right, guys, thanks for watching this short video. I hope this little tip helps you guys. I hope showing my mistake that I made on here can kind of prevent you guys from making the same mistake. Hey, don't forget, I have 2 secret projects in my hangar that I can't wait to show you guys. Now, in my last couple videos, I actually have been putting some Easter eggs in the videos. So if you really pay attention, you could probably figure out what at least one of those projects is. That should be revealed pretty soon.